Hey, it's Mr. Johns, and today we are going to take a look at creating skate park obstacles in SketchUp. And so that's our task today. Now, first what I'm going to do is, I'm assuming you already know how to use SketchUp. This is not a SketchUp tutorial. So I am in Sketchup Online. I'm going to basically just create a flat area. Now, keeping that person standing there gives me an idea of really the size. I probably need something like this for every single obstacle that I'm going to create. But I just want kind of a gray base. I could even paint that later. But it just gives me, as a matter of fact, let's just go ahead and paint it now so it stands out just a little bit more. I could make it asphalt or something, and that might be kind of cool. So asphalt, so it just really stands out. I don't know, so many choices. Now the scale obviously is wrong because this is asphalt for like a road, and I am creating very minuscule objects. And so here's what we're going to do. I've got a list of, I have not done this before, so I'm doing this kind of live, not even sure which ones I can do, but I have a list here down on my desk of fingerboard obstacles that I want to create in SketchUp. And the first one is a launch ramp. And so we're going to take the pencil tool and click, drag, let go. We're going to make it 100 millimeters long. So that tells you the size. Now that is, I think, roughly 4 inches. We're going to stay in millimeters. I like how the black line stands out against the asphalt. And then vertically, we're going to make sure we're drawing a blue line, not green, not black. It's got to be blue, so it's straight up and down. And in this case, this is a launch ramp, so we want to go fairly high. So let's go ahead and go 50 millimeters. That might be fairly large, but I think for a launch ramp, that's pretty good. Now here, you have the option of making a flat ramp, but we really want it to be curved. And so your best tool is arch, 2-point arch. And you can, this part's really fun. I love this part. Click on the top of that line, the left side of this line, and then you can choose how much of a slope, how much of a bend here, as long as you stay basically blue, right? I don't know if blue matters. I'm trying to figure out what that the blue axis is, actually. I can't remember. I think it's okay if it's black in this case, because I'm not on an axis, I'm bending. So I think once I hit blue, it means I'm basically on the ground. So this is a launch ramp, so we just want a little bit of curve like that. Now if you did it right, it turns solid. And that's exactly, and you want to rotate. Always rotate, make sure that you drew on a flat plane. And if you think that slope looks good, that's fine. Now here's the easy part. You scroll around to the other side. What I'm doing is holding down the mouse button to do that. And then I'm going to use the push-pull tool, and I'm going to pull this out, let go. You know, how wide should this thing be? You know, let's go ahead and do 100 millimeters again. Let's see how that looks. That's probably appropriate. So that's about what I think. I mean, of course you could make it longer. But this is a launch ramp, not a trick ramp, not a, half pipe, quarter pipe kind of thing. So there is your very, very simple, I love that, launch ramp. So next up, once you do that, you should highlight the whole thing, make sure you are on the whole thing, right click, make group. Now that is locked, and it shows that blue box around it. It only has the blue box when it's selected, luckily. So it just means you can't mess with it now. So very, very cool. Next up is a simpler version of that. Maybe I should have started with that, but we're going to do a kicker ramp, which is really just a very small version of that, and you don't really catch much air off of that. So we're going to go, gosh, we probably should do about half that size if it's just a kicker. So let's go ahead and go red line. And it doesn't really matter what axis you're on, green or red here, right? Red, green. As long as you're kind of on an axis, it doesn't even really matter if you are on an axis, if you don't care which direction these things are facing. But for the ease of this tutorial, I'm going to keep it all either north, south, east, west. All right, so let's make this half the size, perhaps. So let's go 50 mm, enter, and that might be really small. And then up would be half of that, which would be 25. I don't know if that's what I'm thinking. No, it's a kicker. It's a kicker. So up should be like a quarter of that. So if that's what I say, 50, 25 is half. That should really be like 12.5. So I'm gonna go ahead and stick with 12.5 mm. Enter. Why did it not do it? Let me try again. Up. Let go. 12.5 mm. Yeah, so there's 12.5 millimeters, and then I switch over to the 2-point arc tool, click top, click left, and zoom in a little bit, so I can just get a little bit of a slope on that thing, and just want to make sure it's not below. So pay attention; it cannot be below over here. That's the biggest thing, and that's kind of where it turns blue, is when it touches at the same height. And I want it to be above that, actually, just a little bit, slightly above it. Just a little bit of a, it almost disappears on me on that one. Let's try that again. This should have been so easy. I might have to go blue. And so what that means is I've got a flat section, which isn't bad. It gives you a nice smooth transition up to that. All right, so as far as a kicker goes, this is really small. But let's go ahead and make pull this out. Let's go ahead and make this 100 millimeters. So the width is the same. Does that seem ridiculous or what? That seems really small. Not sure I like it. Pretty sure I don't. We're gonna start over. All right, so pencil. You know, I'm making it up as we go. So that one, let's go 75 millimeters. I don't want it to be half the size. I think 75 millimeters is good, and then it's a kicker, so it doesn't have to be very high. So now 25 millimeters might be decent. Oh, come on now. What'd you do? Click, pull, 25 mm, enter. How can that be 25 millimeters? Oh, it's going that way. See, that's why you have to rotate. And I wasn't paying attention to the color. Make sure it's blue and let go. 25 mm, enter. Come on, Mr. Johns. Those are the basics of SketchUp. All right, so then back to 2-point arc. We're gonna go click. We're gonna go click. We're gonna give it a slight curve. Make sure it's a solid, like a black line. There we go. Now this is a nice little kicker. Whether it should be the same width, I don't really know. Some of you skateboard more than I and know. But I like that because it's not really for launching. This is just for like a flip kick or something pretty basic. So this sucker's gonna launch you. So woo! That's definitely a launch ramp. This one is a kicker. It just gets you up. You can flip your board. You can do whatever on that. So all right, 2 down. Excellent. Let's go ahead and right click, make group. Okay, cool. So 2 ramps. We've got launch ramp, kicker ramp, and we'll be making these out of cardboard next. And then we'll be making the fingerboards to play with. So next up, I have a flat rail. So this one's going to be a little bit trickier because we've got 2, this might be squares. There's quite a few pieces here. So we want this to be a square. So let's go ahead and just go 25 mm, comma 25 mm, enter. That'll give us a 25 millimeter square, and then we can pull that up. Make sure it's highlighted first. Click it. There you go. And then pull it up. Probably something like. And sometimes I have to look at a ruler just to get a good guess at, 10 millimeters. Is that too small? It's pretty small. So I might just go 15 millimeters, enter. And that works great. And so what we're going to do is basically make 2 of those, and if you want to simply highlight and then Control-C, Control-V, you end up with a second one right there, and you can place it at a distance away. Okay. Now, of course, these have to be lined up, and there's several ways to do that. But first, I'm just going to work on, now if we're making things out of cardboard, a little hard to make things round, but you can roll cardboard. So we're going to go in the middle. How do you find the middle of a square? Some of you remember this from other assignments, but the easiest way is to just make a cross. If you put an X across a shape, it always shows you the middle, and then you click your circle right there. And size-wise, we need to be the same. So again, you can't just guess. You need to type something in, and I'm just going to type in 10 millimeters. I don't know what that's going to do. It's really big. See, that's exactly how I start. And then we probably going to want to go 4 millimeters. 4 is pretty good. So 4 millimeter circle. Now what I should have done is, all right, I'm going to delete that guy. Yeah, you're right. Some of you were saying, why didn't you just wait till you're done with this and then make a copy of it? Yeah, okay. You're right. So now I can delete all these shapes that I don't want. Be careful what you highlight. Only the lines here. Just make sure they're blue, and then we're going to select that circle and use the push-pull tool and go up. How much up? Well, again, I don't know. Let's try 20 millimeters. How high do you want to grind? That is up to you. I am thinking that's too low, but if you're rolling a fingerboard up, that might be okay. That might be okay. You could make this higher, but it's a, you know, it's a grind rail. It's not a hop rail that you're going to try to go over. So at this point, I think that looks pretty good, and I'm going to go ahead and highlight that and Control-C, Control-V, and it doesn't show up until you click, by the way. You have to click. Now, see, these are not lined up straight, so what I am going to do, the easiest thing probably, is just to take a pencil tool and draw a green line all the way there, which turns black, by the way, once it's once you click. And then I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna, let's see, switch to my pan tool, so I can get down here. The easiest thing to do always is to grab a corner and drag it to where you want, and they'll snap together. So now those things are exactly lined up, exactly the same, and all I need is a rail on top. So in this case, how do I do a tube going that direction? I could cheat and make a flat rail. That's so much easier, which is true. I could just do a rectangle and pull it. But I think since I'm doing round here, I think round, and I don't remember the size, 2.5. I should have remembered. So wow, okay. So what I need to do is measure the diameter. So 8 millimeter diameter, which means 4 millimeter radius. Okay, radius is half of that. So we're going to make a 4 millimeter radius pipe that goes across those two. Now, how do I do that? That's a good question. I'm trying to think how I would do that. If it'll let me do it vertically, like, I think sometimes you can press the arrow keys, and it lets you, wait for it, look at that. It lets you do it. It changes. That might work. And then type in 4 millimeters. Oh, okay, all right. Well, that's one way to do it. There are multiple ways here. So I was gonna make it somewhere else and rotate it and move it over, but I think this isn't so bad. And I think if I move this up, I'm not too worried about it not touching yet, because I can move it later. So that was actually pretty easy. I used the arrow key to flip the axis up, which is a nice little trick. And then we're gonna basically just pull this bad boy all the way across. So again, I need that pan tool. I need to find the shortcut for that again. So this will pull all the way across, and most of the time they hang over quite a bit. Gives you a little bit more grind air. Whoa. Oh, yeah. I can't do that. You can't really push and pull. You have to really kind of play with it. See, yeah, I had to unclick and then click again, basically to say, okay, I'm not pulling anymore. I'm that direction. I'm pulling this direction. Now, should it be exactly even? Yeah. Now in this case, I'm not going to really care. I'm not going to measure that this is hanging over an exact and an exact. That doesn't matter as much to me visually. In this case, it's fine. Notice that it's not touching. So we are going to have to move it down, or the easiest way is to move this up. So if you can get in here and highlight that. There we go. This will be so much easier than moving that down, up, and then see how it just connects. Isn't that sweet? It actually, I could actually go all the way up and make it look really cool. I think. Let me see how that looks. Look at this. That's like a little too high, but it's like it's welded right there. Look at that. That's like welding. That's like it fits perfectly. Now I love that. So that's what I'm gonna do. And so for this assignment, I want you to do the same because that's pretty sweet. All right. So there are our first three, and you know what's fun is paint it. So I mean, it doesn't have to be what it really would be. I mean, you could paint it anything. Just make it look cool. Wood rails, concrete rails, brick rails. Put brick around that. Let's see what do I got? Brick. Yeah, the scale. Remember the scale. We're talking millimeters here. So the realistic things are going to be out of scale. So, but stone might work for this kind of thing, just to give it a different look. So play with that. And I'm just going to go all the way around and paint the bottom stone. I like how it's different than... Alright, so that's my official rule here is I want your bases to be a different color than the actual rail. Oh, I should paint the end of that too. I don't remember what color that was though, so let's just go colors. Let's go back to colors and find some cool color. I don't know, that looked weird. It'll look weird, but I don't know. Stone looks good. Synthetic surfaces might look kind of cool. What is that? Synthetic surface. Make sure you do the ends. All right, so, all right. Here's what I want. I would like your rail to be different color boxes and different color, all the rail parts different color. Over here, I would like you to paint your ramps wood. Okay, come on, show me some wood there. There we go. Okay, so paint, make sure you paint, I don't need the bottom because I can't see it. I want you to paint both ramps, two different colors of wood. One color, those look almost the same, but so make them two different colors of wood, and you get the point. So we got launch ramp, wood, kicker ramp, different color of wood. We've got grind rail. The rail is something and the bases are something, and that's the assignment for this time. We're going to do more ramps next time around. You'll have lots to choose from, and you'll know how to make it in 3D, as well as you know, anything you make in 3D you can 3D print, which is kind of cool. So we'll have a whole skate park of things that we can make, either 3D printed or make out of cardboard or foam or something like that. So hope that was useful to you. Catch you next time. For now, Mr. Johns is out.